and welcome to the Design Your Dream Home podcast. I am Brittany Johnson, your interior design expert and the creator of Design Your Dream Home, which is the ultimate guide to the interior design and construction process of your new home. If you've been following along, you will notice that my husband Bjorn is not here today. Well, we are in the process of a major life change, and that is what I'm here to talk to you about today. I have a new masterclass available. The link is in the description below. And I thought the best way to promote it and really help people understand what you could do with what I'm giving you is to use those, show you how I am using those exact same mindset shifts to redesign our entire life. So I'm going to put it into action for you because that is what we are doing, redesigning our entire lives from the ground up. So what is going on? Well, Bjorn and I started seriously evaluating our lives over the last year, and really I had been doing a lot of the work myself for a few years before that. So this has been a really long process of awakening and finding ourselves, really looking at what makes us happy and what we need to live our best lives. I had been evaluating our life on a small scale, how I shop or the food we eat, the clothes we wear, how I organize our lives. But I realized we were ready to look at ourselves from a much more pulled back view. So Bjorn likes to say, pull the cord on the parachute, come back here and look at your life from way up here, because sometimes, you can't see the forest through the trees sometimes. So we wanted to really look at what are we doing with our time? Is this the life that we want to live? Like day to day, are we doing the things that make us happy? We decided yes and no. We are super happy with our family unit. Bjorn and I have been through a lot of ups and downs. We've been together a very long time, and it hasn't always been the smoothest relationship. And I would say in the last year, we had some very serious foundational arguments that we had to get through, but it was necessary for us to be able to see ourselves better and each other clearer and know without a doubt that we were committed to this and each other and moving forward. I have no doubt there will be more arguments along the way because obviously that's life, but I believe that the foundation we have set is just incredibly strong. Our kids are amazing, geniuses, if you ask me. And I want the best for them. I want to show them the world and everything it has to offer and give them the world, right? And everybody wants that, I feel like. We moved to the Midwest 6 years ago. I was pregnant. We moved back to the Midwest 6 years ago. I was pregnant with our first child. We found an acreage that we loved in the middle of nowhere, which happens to also be where I'm from. And this is what we wanted. We loved it here. We loved the acreage. We nested here. We had another baby, so we have 2 kids, and they are now 4 and 6. What felt like calm and safe now feels kind of stifling and mundane. Like we are ready for more. But then, what does that mean? Well, my business is online, so I can be anywhere technically, and Bjorn was between jobs, so the world was incredibly open for us, and as a family, we decided that we were open for a move. Now the researcher in me kicked in hardcore. If you are enrolled in my course, you know how much I love to research. I even have a bonus dedicated to my methods because I am seriously like a bloodhound when I am after something. I do not like to wonder. I mean, I do. I wonder about a lot of things. I am constantly thinking about things, but then I'd like to find an answer. We live in the world of answers now. There is not much that you don't know. You might, and I say that in my bonus too, like you might never not know again once you understand this method. But that's just what I love to do, and those are the rabbit holes that I love to go down. So my first question to myself in this process was, if I could move anywhere in the United States, where would I move? Well, we are keeping it national for now, so we decided that. Maybe our next move will be international, but like one step at a time. Let's try a big national move and go from there. But how do you begin deciding where you might want to move when it could be anywhere? especially if it's not necessarily a place that you've ever been, because I wasn't ruling anything out. We've traveled a lot, but I have not seen the entire US. As I do with anything, and I teach you how to do this in my course, I broke it down into the main criteria that I was concerned with. And this will be different for everyone. We all have our own priorities, and that is the beauty of the world. We can all have exactly what we want, and it's different for everyone. So what do I want? That's my job as a human being, is to, and I market this a lot. I talk about this in the course a lot. Your job for the world and life, in my opinion, is to know yourself and what you want and what you're here to do. Like, that's what we spend our lives figuring out, in my opinion, going with what feels right, because that's the path that's laid in front of us. It feels right to you for a reason. So what feels right to me? Let's stop and actually think about, if I could move anywhere in the world, where would I move? And throughout this process, I obviously have my whole family in mind, but I'm also thinking about myself. More than anything else, like I said, I know what I like. That's all I can know. I feel it in my soul. That is something you can, lean into and figure out for yourself. I can't figure out what makes Bjorn happy or my kids. I can witness them, and see what I think makes them happy, but ultimately they know what feels right for them. I know what feels right for me. So I'm planning the life that works for me, and I am incorporating their needs as much as possible to see if it works for everyone else. There are obviously compromises as a family that we are making for each other, but I believe we can find a place that makes everyone happy. So we're all coming together with all of our, main priorities. We can't all have everything we want, but we can have the basic core wants and needs that makes us all happy, because I firmly believe it is not a good solution until it is a win-win for everybody, and that there is absolutely a win for everyone in every situation. So again, how do you figure out what you like? Well, I talk about this a lot in the masterclass. So if you're really interested and want to hone in on that, I would absolutely recommend taking the masterclass. And it's free, so why not? The 3 mindset shifts that you can take today for a smoother build and more authentic home. Because although I'm applying this process to home building in the masterclass, as you see in my life, you can absolutely apply it to any aspect of your life and expect the same soul-centered, authentic answers for what you're looking for. So what am I looking for? What do I love most? I mean, obviously my family, but what else do I love? What do I love most? What do I do when I'm bored? When I'm happy? How do I like to spend my time? If I have free time, where do I go? What do I find myself gravitating towards? Well, I am an artist to my core. It's just, I can't help but be creative. There's people, I was watching a baking show last night, and the person was like, I love to bake. If I'm not working at the bakery, I'm baking at home. It just comes out. That is how I feel. Like, I am constantly creating in some sort of way. I can't help but be an artist. And that definitely defined my entire life. I want the freedom. I'm looking for the freedom to do just what I want and live the way that I want, and to be my most authentic self. That really, really matters to me. I want to eat good food and create things and have interesting conversations with open-minded people who are like a little bit weird like me. And when I say that, I don't mean like me. I don't want people that look like me or are just like me. I am sick of that. I want to be around people who are weird in their own authentic way, like so undeniably themselves that I can't help but be myself. Like, that's what I want. I am looking for a community that is unapologetically themselves. And I want to show my kids that variety of people in this world, that that there's a million kinds of people, that you could be anything. I want to expose them to people who think differently than us and who don't look like anyone else. Like, not even just don't look like me. I want them to see people who have, really stepped into their authentic selves and are going for it to help inspire them and me and all of us to be our best authentic selves as well. So that's maybe an odd thing that I'm looking for, but that's what I'm looking for. That's what makes it for me. So it's not necessarily about, like I say this in the course a lot too, and in the mindset masterclass, it's not always about like 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,000 square feet, or whatever it is that you're looking for. You have to go so much deeper into the vibe that you are looking for, the atmosphere where you feel comfortable, because it's not the same for everybody, and it's not necessarily what you grew up in. I have felt like so not uncomfortable, but like so not in my right place for a long time. Like I don't fit in. I've never fit in, and I'm not looking to fit in like a sheep kind of way, but like I'm just looking to find my community, my people, my place that feels like home. And not to say that these places don't feel like home. I think you can have it in so many ways, but I am looking for like that deep spiritual connection of like magnet me to where I belong. That's a really big thing to ask for, but I'm asking for it because you can have what you want. Why would you not want everything? I was listening to an interview with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I love him. I think he is super motivational and just, I like him. So anyway, he was talking about how his life and how he grew up, and his dad was a professional wrestler, and just the environment that lent him to grow up in, and the people that were around his table and that he regularly interacted with, and just opened his eyes to the diversity of people and the complexity of personality and who we are. And I just thought it was so interesting. And I just thought that is what I want for my kids. I want them, and for me, to be surrounded by people who are so authentically themselves. They've lived a life and they're pushing for more. Those are the kind of people I want to be surrounded with. So that's the kind of vibe I'm looking for. And of course, obviously, okay, so that's the big picture, but that's obviously not the only prerequisite. Then where do you go with that? So I have that big overall picture in my mind. And if you haven't picked it up by now, I am particular AF, if you know what I mean. So I have quite a checklist, actually, of other things that need to be checked off my list for what I'm looking for. So a few more. So now that I have my huge picture that I'm looking for, then I started narrowing it down even more. I'm looking for a medium-sized city. I'm kind of done with the small town right now, and I am not quite comfortable raising my kids in a big city. Like that's a big jump for me right now. And so I'm looking for a medium-sized city. Affordable housing, because eventually we would like to buy a house. And again, particular here. So I'm looking for if I could manifest exactly what I'm going to pick out, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just think hard about exactly what you want? Because I am going to get it. So if I got everything I wanted, it would be a single owner from the 70s, mid-century style that like needs a serious update, but was fantastic in its prime. That is what I'm looking for. That diamond in the rough. I can see it in my mind, and I will find it, and I will keep you updated when I do. I was looking for so I needed to find an area that has homes like that. Then I'm looking for beautiful landscape is absolutely necessary for me, and easy access to the outdoors and activities, because we like to be outdoor. We like to do stuff. We like to be adventurous. We like to go see things. We like to go camping and road trips. And I want that to be like at my fingertips. I want to live where people go on vacation. Like when you go there, you're like, oh my God, I could live here. I love it. I love everything about it. But then you go back home to a place that you don't love. Like I want to just live there where it's awesome, where people go to have fun. I want to live there. And then obviously I have kids, so we need to find a place that has good schools. And then that was also the affordable housing. So that's kind of where we are. I know that seems like a big list, but again, why not have a list of exactly what you want? You have all the things to pick from. You have all the world to choose from. The world is your oyster. Like, get what you want. So I am going to find this magical place, and I am on the hunt. As I am describing this, I would be really curious to hear if anybody has an idea of where they think. I have picked a place now. This is very early in my process, but do you have any idea where you think we're moving? Hearing my criteria, does anyone have any suggestions? Because maybe someone's going to throw something out that I didn't think of, that I didn't find. I mean, I highly doubt it because I'm an amazing researcher, but I would love to be surprised. I love to learn new things. So, speaking of that, how did I go about researching all of this? Well, I started with the obvious, a Google search. Best area to raise a family, or best towns to raise kids, top cities for creatives, best cities for young professionals. I changed my words, changed the direction, changed the question, but all the different questions that could point you to the things on my list. And then I just started seeing, were there similarities in all the articles? I read all the articles. So if you've written an article about any of these small town, these, what I'm looking for, I probably read it. I read everything, and I paid attention to what caught my attention, what sounded interesting to me, and what areas were continuously mentioned and why. And I even read and I especially read the negative comments, because it's also so interesting, the articles of why not to live somewhere. Well, that tells me just as much about something as the positive does, because again, as I talked about in previous podcasts, if you're following along, it's a big deal to evaluate the advice that you're getting from other people, because everyone has super different priorities. So what seems like a negative to one person might be a positive to the next. So I read all the reviews, and I then run them through my own personal filter of, does that matter to me or not? So, for example, one of the articles I read was someone complaining they were moving from the city to this small town, or not small town, medium-sized town, and they were saying, it felt too small town for me for a city this size. I thought I would feel more like I was in the city. Well, ding, 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 that's exactly what I'm looking for. I don't want to be in a big, huge city. I want the small town feel, but with the conveniences of a bigger city, bigger area. I don't necessarily, somewhere in that middle where you still have a sense of community and you can afford to live there, but yet you still have awesome stuff and cool food and music and opportunities for everyone to, have fun and live their best life. So that's what I was looking for. Next, I went on to schools. Were there enough high-ranking schools in that area that it was kind of a common theme? I don't want to have to fight for a spot in that one good school district in the whole area. I want all the schools to be pretty good, and then I'm going to pick the best one from there. So once I found the school district I liked, then I looked at the houses in the school districts. Are they affordable? Are they the style I liked? Are there plenty for sale? Or are they going like this? I was on the Realtor app every night for a long time, looking through neighborhoods, checking out the Google Maps, and the street views. Sometimes I would literally just take a walk on Google Maps to see if I would feel comfortable in that neighborhood. Could I take this walk regularly? Is this what I want to see and experience? I mean, literally, you can be that specific, especially in this day and age of technology. So why not? I am literally going to niche myself down until the answer is so obvious that I cannot get this wrong. And again, that is what I teach in my course for designing a house, and it applies to your entire life. So fast forward to now, my husband is already there. We have picked a place, and he just signed a lease on an apartment, and he was worried, that was super easy. Should I have done more, or should I be more nervous about the situation? It's no. We have done so much work and research ahead of time that what seems obvious and easy is the result of all this work behind the scenes. People say to me all the time, oh, you make it look so easy. What's your secret? Well, just because it looks easy does not mean that it is. That means I put the work in ahead of time, and I am managing my emotions. I have done a lot of work on myself. I know what I want, and that I can have it, and that I deserve it. That is the fundamental key. I'm not doubting what I want and that I can have it. I'm just moving forward without hesitation because I have thought about this so much, and I'm going to get it. This is what I'm going to keep doing this until I get it. I mean, obviously, we all have self-doubt. If Bjorn was here, he would be the first one to point out that I have my struggles. And he is the helper and support of me in those times so much. And like the way he believes in me is just ridiculous. And I appreciate it. And I still have those struggles, and it's okay because we all have struggles. But I also know that this is my path. And all those struggles are just, potholes and puddles that I just have to get through. Yes, I have self-doubt. It's there. It's lingering. We all do. Everyone, everyone has feelings. No one's perfect. We all doubt ourselves. But I know that this is the right direction for me. And I remind myself that all the time. I also know that the road I typically choose is not the easiest. I have a habit of biting off more than I can chew and like just barely making it. I apparently thrive in that process, and I enjoy a challenge. There is no doubt. So I now understand that that is my path, and I am working to embrace it. I am a manifestor generator, an Enneagram 8, a Leo sun and moon, and so many more things that point to me being this, trailblazer and person of my own direction. I am not meant to walk the same path as anyone else. I am meant to show the world another way to live. I have felt that my entire life, and I didn't understand what I was supposed to do with that. It's hard to be that person, but I realize now I feel that way because I am capable of it. I can carry this this gigantic, it's not a load. It feels right. I just am capable of carrying so much, and I love the challenge. I thrive on it. Like, not everybody wants to be in this stressful life that I live, but I wouldn't have it any other way, and I know that it's right for me. So, wow, that was kind of a tangent about me, but now you know more about me, and so follow along if you want to learn more about our journey and this process and how I'm implementing it into our lives. I will be chronicling this journey regularly and showing you how to apply my process to redesigning our lives from the ground up. Again, this is the same framework I teach in my online course, Design Your Dream Home. And I also have a free masterclass on the mindset shifts that you can make for a smoother build and a more authentic home. But it's really the foundation of this my entire decision-making process, and you can apply it right now to your own life, whatever phase you are in. As you can see, I am applying it to every phase of my life, and we are starting from the ground up, and I'm going to show you how I apply it to these huge life decisions, like where are we going to move, to the tiny ones, like what kind of silverware I'm going to pick out, because, I forgot to mention that we are selling everything. My brother is buying the acreage where we live now, and we were able to do it like all-in package. We are just going to pack our suitcases and walk out the door, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to reevaluate everything I own. We are keeping only the bare necessities and only buying the bare necessities when we get there, and I want everything to be exactly what we want it to be. I want to live a minimal life and do more with less. I am so ready for that. So again, follow along to watch me redesign our lives, and check out the masterclass if you need those mindset shifts right now, and think about the Design Your Dream Home online course if building a new home or remodeling your existing one is part of your life path. Either way, follow along and see our journey, and I hope you're out there living your best life.